and his sacrifice to the growth of the sasana. For this reason, I warmly accepted his humble invitation to be here today. And the Bodhi Vihara, it is such a graceful and benevolent place for the Sangha and the community. I believe that. The term Bodhi, sometimes you might have come across the term Bodhi. Bodhi means the awakening, understanding. The essence of Buddhism is understanding. Understanding what? Understanding the truth and the reality. The book called the Dhamma, the book of discernment, the book of analytical understanding of the truth, it says thus: Bodhita pajayati buddho, buddhita satchami buddho. The Buddha or the Bodhi simply means not just mere understanding, but help others understand as well. Once understanding the truth by himself and guide others towards the enlightenment. That's how the term Bodhi comes into existence in Pali scholarship. Today, within the community of the Bodhi Vihara, I see the reality, how the Venerable Dhamma learn, practices, and try to awaken himself to the truth. Not only that, he has dedicated his time and work to help others to learn, practice, and be familiar with the Dhamma. To that extent, I believe that the Bodhi Vihara community is such a wonderful and magnificent place to learn, practice, and to become enlightened in due course in your life. That's my thought. So I believe that I should share it with you this morning ahead of my sharing of the Dhamma. This is also Dhamma, not Dhamma, this is the Dhamma. Well, now, directly going back to the topic, the rains retreat and the Kathina rope offering ceremony. What I am focusing on these two key terms here, the reason is that many people do not understand its history, interconnectedness, and the value and critical importance in the Dhamma. Some people just think it's just kind of a ceremony, but not at all. By no means we could say it is just a ceremony in the sense of indulging with sensual pleasures and so forth. No, not at all. Cutting a rope offering ceremony, the event itself is deeply endowed with the Buddhist Vinaya, the monastic code of conduct. That's why it's different from other activities that you perform your everyday life. This is not the one and only time you do offer a specific robe to the Sangha. In Buddhist culture, if we say southern Buddhist culture, in Sri Lanka, Cambodia, Laos, and Burma, or it's called Myanmar, you could see people keep offering robes and eightfold offerings to the Sangha. That's very natural. And if you look into the Eastern and Northern Buddhism as well, there are many practitioners and also fellows. They do offer all kinds of requisites to the Sangha. But why has this been demarcated from such activities? The reason is that this Kathina robe is more connected with the Sangha's discipline, the monastic protocol. You couldn't just offer the Kathina robe as you wish. If you want to offer a Kathina robe to the Sangha, the first and foremost, the Sangha should be qualified to accept it. Without being qualified to accept the Kathina robe, that doesn't enable you to offer a Kathina robe. So, what I'm trying to say, there is a subtle and inevitable interconnection, an integral connectivity between the Sangha and the laity with regards to the Kathina robe. Hence, I would like to put a solid emphasis on the race retreat and the Kathina robe. That's how it began with. If you look back in 3 months' time, the dawn of Asala full moon poetry, where everything began, perhaps before as well, when the thoughts started springing into your mind. However, following the Theravada monastic rules and regulations, with the dawn of Asala full moon poetry, the monks should gather to the monastery, to the shrine area or the sima, the boundary, for their confession, reciting the Patimokkha. After the confession and having done the Patimokkha recitation, the following day, the laity can invite the Sangha to observe the rinse retreat. What is this rinse retreat? In the UK and most of Europe, how many seasons have we got this far? How many seasons? What I mean in the sense of ecological sense. You have got winter, autumn, spring, summer. Let's say basically 4 at least. The transformation of the environment. May I ask, can you stay the same in every season? Wearing the same clothes? Maintaining the same lifestyle and the behavior? No, you need to adapt to it. Otherwise that becomes so ignorant. You need to adapt to the environment. You need to adapt to the transformation of the world. Even in evolutionary biology, the scholars like Richard Dawkins and Peter Atkinson, they say the root of human civilization and evolution is the adaptation to the environment. Similarly, in the 6th century BCE, this is not a small amount of time, but 2.5 millennia ago, 2.5 millennia ago in India, generally they had 3 seasons at least. In the Parajika Pali, one of the treatises of the monastic code of conduct, it says, Hemantampi Gimhampi Vassanampi Utum Asmin Utum Hemanta, Gimhana and Vassana. Perhaps we could translate it into English, the spring, winter and autumn. So when it comes to the monsoon time, the Buddha advised the monastics to stay in the monastery, stay in residence. Why? During the monsoon time, in India, the environment starts flourishing and nurturing. The new crops and the new creatures coming out of the soil, and they become more nurturing and very blissful during the rain season. In response to that, and not only that actually, some groups of people criticize the propagation of the Dhamma even in the monsoon time, walking around the fields and the land. They unwillingly destroy the small creatures and crops. So, considering that social criticism, Buddha laid down a rule, the Venerable pleased to stay in residence when it comes to the rainy season. That is the history. However, at the same time, I do another important insight here. When I say the word retreat, what kind of sense, what kind of meaning coming into your mind? Retreat? Retreat from what? Retreat from which? Retreat from where? So, the English term retreat simply means withdrawing yourself. But from what? In this context, I do believe that the Buddha wanted us to withdraw ourselves from desire, animosity, and ignorance. It enables me to implicate the meaning. Whilst staying in the residence, Buddhist monks are supposed to learn Dhamma in depth, practice the Dhamma more widely and more thoroughly, in which they ultimately lead us to awakening to truth. These are the cornerstones of Buddha's teachings. Pariyatti, Patipatti, Pativedha. Learning, practicing, and understanding. The main purpose of the rains retreat is not just to stay in residence, not just to observe the precept itself, but first observe it, then dedicate your time and life more to the Dhamma, more to the reality, more to your journey to end the suffering. That is the whole purpose of the retreat. Can you see that? You began it with the dawn of Asala, then it moved on through Nikini, Vihara, over the past 3 months. So then when it comes to what? The end of 3 months' time, we say the termination of the Vassa. On that day, Buddhist monks again come to the Sima, the boundary, and do the confession in front of the elderly monk or himself, and do the recitation of the Patimokkha, and finally terminate the precept, in which they observe 3 months back in time. As a result of that, the Buddhist monks is getting qualified to accept a specific robe called Kathina. The Venerable Dhamma, as he observed the rains retreat 3 months before, back in 3 months, today you are able to offer Sangha this Kathina robe, unless you couldn't do that. Not just observance, but learning, practicing, and understanding the Dhamma over the past 3 months. It is not for the monk himself actually, it's for the laity as well, the lay people. That's how we see the reciprocal relationship between the monks, the monasteries, and the lay people. It's based on this spirituality rather than other material elements. So we tend to thrive in our spiritual bondage within each other. The sutta I cited at the outset of my sermon, Etu vinyo puriso asato amayavi ujijatiko amanusan. The sutta called Vekanasa, in the middle length sayings of the Buddha. The Buddha says, Etu vinyo puriso, please, the intelligent ones, come and see. Asato, there is no illusion here. there is no any hypocrisy here. Amaya, there is no any miracle or magic here. Ujjatiko, this is straightforward. This is very much transparent. This is pretty much filled with clarity and purity. Then, Yathan Siddham Tata Patipajamano Nechira Sale Samanya Nasati. Whoever fulfills the precepts, whoever fulfills the aspects of the path, he will attain salvation. He will gain the supreme bliss of emancipation in life. Not just the person who learns it, but who practices it. Learn and practice, and that leads to awakening. That is the purpose of the rains retreat. So withdrawing yourself, your life from the evil, from the unwholesome entanglements in your life, cause act with desire, hatred, and animosity. So fulfilling all that, today it is proper and it becomes appropriate to offer the robe called Kathina to the Mahasangha. I think this sets forth the idea that how the Kathina robe offering ceremony itself is not a ceremony in the sense of that culture and sensual indulgence, but rather far beyond that. It begins with the growth of the spirituality and it ends with the culmination of your spirituality. Now you can compare how you were before, back in 3 months' time, now where you are, by means of your practice and understanding. Are you more compassionate today in comparison to in June and July, 3 months back? Are you more insightful? Have you got more capability to learn and practice more in your life? That is the comparative understanding within rather than with others. So this rains retreat helps us come back in, be more friendly within, and to fall in love and compassion with. So all in all, what I am trying to tell you this morning ahead of the Kathina robe offering, this is a causal mechanism, acts incredibly attached to Buddhist monasticism. So fulfilling the precepts and vows, you can offer the robe. It remarks the